have to be more careful and just intentional than ever in an inflation environment.
If you're on sort of the younger side, keep doing what you're doing.
No matter what's in your piggy bank right now, ways to weather the dropping hammer of economic uncertainty. I'm Chris Conti.
All right, Chris, thank you for that report. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I'm Michelle London. Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
Breaking right now at 5, Hurricane Ian pummels Florida.
Our ears are popping. We are in the eye wall of Hurricane Ian.
With entire communities submerged in water now.
Bathroom door.
President Biden promises aid will come quickly.
We'll be there to help you clean up and rebuild, to help you get Florida get moving again.
145-mile-an-hour winds, a 12-foot storm surge, and up to a foot of rain. Hurricane Ian made landfall this afternoon as a powerful Category 4 storm north of Fort Myers.
Currently, Ian is impacting the entire state, with its biggest impacts being felt from Fort Myers north to Tampa. Now, these are live pictures from Tampa, and you can see lots of rain and wind. In Fort Myers, water levels have risen more than 6 feet in the past 7 hours, and water is still rising.
And here's what we know so far. Ian made landfall tied with 2004's Hurricane Charley as the strongest storm to make landfall on the west coast of Florida. Right now, more than 1 million people in Florida are without power. And storm warnings are going into effect up the East Coast to Virginia.
And we have team coverage today at 5. Our Mike Nelson is tracking the latest on Ian and the impacts still to come.
We are going to start with reporter Gloria Pazmino in Tampa, which is currently getting hit quite hard. Gloria?
And the mayor of Tampa is warning hurricane winds are expected here in the area within the next hour. She has just pulled emergency first responders from the streets of Tampa, asking residents to shelter in place as Ian arrives here in the region.
Hurricane Ian slamming Florida's Gulf Coast with near Category 5 strength. The monster storm packing winds of 155 miles per hour.
155-mile-an-hour winds are incredibly dangerous. There will be debris in the air and flooding powerful enough to move cars around.
Even before the worst of the storm hit, people in Fort Myers already seeing mass flooding.
The storm surge is very significant. We're actually seeing cars and boats float down the street. We're seeing trees nearly bent in half.
In some areas, the storm surge could reach life-threatening levels of near 18 feet. Already, hundreds of thousands of people are without power. Ahead of the storm, long lines on interstates as residents scramble to evacuate, but some choosing to stay behind and ride it out.
I've got my safe room ready. We have a second bathroom with no windows. I've got a bed in there. I've got the dog food, water. The bathtub is full.
Governor Ron DeSantis expecting to submit a request for a major disaster declaration for all 67 counties, which will allow the federal government to send funds for cleanup.
We are on the alert and in action. We've approved every request Florida has made.
And as the evening arrives, you could really start to feel conditions changing. The wind has definitely picked up in just the last couple of minutes. More than 1 million people across the entire state of Florida are currently without power. Ian still not done with the state of Florida, continuing to make its path across the state. Live in Tampa, Gloria Pazmino.
Thank you, Gloria. And these images from the International Space Station show just how massive Hurricane Ian is.
Mike Nelson is joining us now to give us a closer look at the storm and the major impacts Florida will see tonight. Mike?
Well, of course, it's strengthened to near Category 5, 2 miles per hour shy of that. And the temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico around 85 degrees. And that warm water is what fed this super hurricane as it moved into Tampa, Florida, and areas just to the south. Now, the tornado watch is on the east coast now of Florida because the spiraling of this spins off rotating thunderstorms that can cause tornadoes. They've had about a dozen tornadoes in the last 24 hours. The track of the storm will take it pretty much right over Orlando and out by Daytona Beach. Then it'll curve back out into the far western Atlantic off of the coast of Georgia and then push back into South Carolina over the next couple of days. This thing will dump copious amounts of rain as it goes. Parts of Florida could see 2 feet of rain. Parts of the Carolinas and Georgia heading up into Virginia could see anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of rain. So it's going to cause plenty of flooding all over the southeastern part of the United States, along with the threat of tornadoes.
And some Coloradans are already in Florida. Others are on their way, ready to help in the storm's aftermath. Xcel is sending 270 workers from Colorado and 7 other states to help restore power. 8 volunteers with the Red Cross got to Florida on Sunday. Now, once the storm passes, they will do things like provide shelter, food, and emotional support to people who are displaced. So if you'd like to help, you can always donate to the Red Cross online. And be sure and stay with Denver 7 as we track Hurricane Ian and its impact as it moves out over Florida and up the coast. We will have updates on air, online, and on the Denver 7 Plus app.
A youth soccer coach is accused of sharing child pornography on social media. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office arrested 54-year-old Huberto Limas Villers. He is now suspended from the soccer club Real Colorado, where deputies say he worked as a coach. The club says his arrest had nothing to do with its program and didn't involve any players. Last month, another Real Colorado coach was also arrested for sharing child pornography. The Sheriff's Office says there is no connection between the 2 arrests.
Authorities in Nepal say they have recovered the body of U.S. extreme skier Hillary Nelson of Telluride. Searchers spent days looking for her after she fell while climbing the world's 8th tallest mountain. Nelson was the captain of the North Face athletic team and had a career spanning 2 decades. Her body is now being taken to Nepal's capital for an autopsy.
Some supply chain issues caused by the COVID-19 pandemic are still going on, including a paper shortage.
With the November election around the corner, Denver 7 politics reporter Megan Lopez explains what election departments have done to get around this problem.
Things are getting busy around here.
By this time in the election cycle, things are really starting to pick up. Election departments are printing their ballots and their voter guides before the big day.
It's a lot of paper, and paper, as you know, has gotten much more expensive.
But the COVID pandemic and supply chain issues are causing a paper shortage.
What happened was most people don't work in the office anymore, so there was lower demand for paper products.
There was also less recycled paper for companies to use, strikes, lumber shortages, and more people shopping online. So
paper mills moved a lot of their focus in sales from paper products to packaging.
all of that started to worry elections departments like Arapahoe County, who need the paper for their ballots, their envelopes, even those little I voted stickers.
It is a fairly unique situation from everyone that I've talked to in the industry, for sure.
Deputy Director of Elections Peg Pearl says in elections that paper trail is critical.
It's very reliable. It gives you records that you can look at. We want to mail a ballot to you and also give you an envelope to give it back to us.
And in the case of an audit or a recount, there is a physical copy of the ballot. As a precaution, they ordered all their ballots, their envelopes, everything at the beginning of the year, but it was more expensive.
So our per ballot cost has gone up a few cents per page.
Denver is not exempt from any of the supply chain issues. In 2020, we were looking at $800,000 to print all the ballots for the city and county of Denver. This year, we're well over $1 million.
The price of envelopes is up 13% meanwhile, and those I voted stickers up 22%. Even their 96-page voter guide costs the county more, and ballots are getting longer.
It's 3 cards. Each card is double-sided. And of course, that's English and Spanish for everything.
So they needed even more paper. They too ordered early and say people won't notice a difference, but supply chain experts say this problem likely isn't going away anytime soon.
We're going to encounter this turbulence at least for the next 2-3 years, and it could probably likely be longer than that.
So election departments need to plan ahead and brace for higher costs for the foreseeable future. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
The election is less than 2 months away, and here are some important dates to keep in mind. Ballots will be mailed to voters starting on Monday, October 17th. The election is Tuesday, November 8th. You can register to vote or update your registration at govotecolorado.gov. You can also register at your county clerk's office.
Giving teenagers the tools to succeed.
I always want to help people. That's my future goal.
A Colorado nonprofit is helping young adults with autism prepare for adulthood.
The whole point is to prepare these people, our clients, for life after they graduate.
Dry and warm today, but cooler and wetter weather coming our way for the weekend.
And a warning for parents.
Just as dangerous and just as deadly as other forms of fentanyl.
How drugs are being sold on social media and targeting your kids.